Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Monday, the 14th of February, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. You all know that there's been a truckers' uh, protest in Ottawa, and this protest spread out and it branched out later and started to block borders. And the borders have been blocked, and they're moving from one border to another border. And the government's trying to open the borders, but it's like whack-a-mole. They're moving. They're on the move. Well, I got an article fresh off the press, come from Global, uh, and we're going to take a look at it. Let's get the charts open right here. Take a look at this. Trudeau is expected to evoke the Emergencies Act. Now, I guess he's going to start this Emergencies Act on Monday. It gives them tremendous power. It says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expected to announce Monday he will invoke the emergency powers to support provinces in ending the blockades and the public disorder that have gripped Ottawa for 18 days. Global News has confirmed. And one of the points I want to make here is that the Emergencies Act here in Canada has never been used before. But there's 4 reasons why they can use it, and I'm going to discuss first the powers that it gives the government. One of the powers that we should look at right here very closely, it says the ability to regulate or prohibit public assembly. So they can prohibit public assembly. I imagine that under normal times when these powers are not invoked, that people are allowed peaceful protests, but I don't think they're allowed. I think that they're able to blanket prohibit public assembly. Now, they're also the ability to designate secure protected places. They have the ability to assume control and restoration of maintenance of public utilities and services, the ability to authorize and direct provisions of essential services and the provision of reasonable compensation, the ability to impose or similarly convict or fine. Now, here's the thing. They are allowed to fine you up to $5,000 and give you 5 years in jail under this. And this is the point I want to make. For any breach, it says for any breach of an order or regulation. That's very loosely written, and it basically blanket covers everything. Everything. It's just all in their decision of what they want to do. That gives them total power. It says any breach of an order or regulation, you can get $5,000 fine and imprisonment for 5 years. Any law enforcement officer, it gives them the power of any breach of an order that they give you or a regulation that they put in place. So how long is this good for? It's good for 30 days. It's never been put in place before, from what I understand. It says the Emergency Act has never been invoked. I guess they're going to invoke it. 4 reasons why they can invoke it here is 1, espionage or sabotage, 2, foreign influenced activities within Canada, 3, activities within relating to Canada directed toward or in support of a threat of use of acts of serious violence against persons or properties for the purpose of achieving a political, religious, or ideological objective within Canada or a foreign state. Number 4, activities directed toward undermining or covert unlawful acts or directed toward intended ultimately to lead to the destruction or overthrow by violence of the constitutionally established system of the government of Canada. Those are the 4 reasons why they can invoke it. I imagine it's one of these reasons is probably why they're invoking it. Uh, so, the Emergency Act is going to make a big difference toward the disruption of these uh, protests. But here's the thing, guys. The protests are a symptom. Here in Canada, we've been through a lot. We've been through like over 2 years of this COVID pandemic. We've seen our government do things they've never done before. And Canadians have all witnessed these things, and they're also witnessing the things that are happening right now with these protests. A lot of Canadians, unless they don't have a mind, they don't think for themselves at all, a lot of Canadians that do have a mind think, are wondering about their government. They have concerns. What we all want as Canadians is what I would refer to as the government that we had before the pandemic. A government that's for the people, by the people, and wants the people to be able to have the pursuit of happiness, wants them to have religious freedoms, does the people that don't live under the threat of human right abuses, of people that basically have the freedom to express themselves and raise their children in a stable environment. We don't want to be North Korea. Sorry, but no. But we have concerns. We want to be under a just government. A government that works in coordination with the people. So when this 30-day period is over, we're still going to have these concerns. We just want this pandemic to go away. We want to get back to the business of being proud Canadians. And not having to have concerns about our government. The best government is a government that runs in the background and it's quietly running there while we can live our lives. Not a government that's in our face and making a lot of noise. I mean, which would you rather have if you had a car? Would you rather have a car that had a quiet engine that always starts and gets you where you want to go? Or would you rather have a car that's backfiring and making a lot of noise and blowing a piston out the side of the engine and never starts and everything else? Well, that's what government can be like. Government can be like that car engine. You can have a good, solid car engine, and that's what we've had up until this pandemic started. That's quiet and runs in the background and does its job as government. Or would you rather have some sort of and you know, we as Canadians do have concerns about our government, and we want the government to work with the people. It's just basically as simple as that. We want our old Canada back. Canada, oh Canada, that's what we want. We want a free country. We want a country that is the way our country's been. We've been a high ground in a world that is, in some places, very tyrannical. We want leadership rather than descending towards some sort of a tyranny. And for the people who aren't paying any attention out there, which they're the minority, because most of the Canadians out here, they're the ones who are not paying any attention right now are the fringe group. That's the fringe group. We as Canadians right now, most of us are glued and riveted, even if we're not saying anything, even if we're quiet. We are a silent majority, are sitting and watching this play out, watching this whole COVID pandemic play out, watching what the government's doing. We're all watching what the truckers are doing. We're watching this whole thing from the sidelines, and we want to see it resolved. But we want to see it resolved in a way that retains Canada as Canada. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.